Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dreadbread. Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Hope your day, depending on when you're watching this, or twilight, or lunchtime, anytime. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dreadbread, and welcome to the Space Monkey and Mafia. I could not stream this last night. Catching up on the last actual preview for Warhammer Fest and what's in the box, what's in the starter box. I know everybody probably knows by now, but I know not everybody actually goes over to Twitter, and I quite like doing this content. This is something I originally had planned my channel to do my channel like this, and I'm glad that I'm able to finally do it. Again, this music is brought to you by Slip. Whoa. Slip.stream. I use their stuff quite a bit. Yes, I am talking. I am talking. Be quiet. I'm getting notifications. Are you trying to speak? No, I'm just whispering. I'm just a sad little boy. But we're gonna talk a bit before we hop on over. I had to watch 15 minutes worth almost of previews, so I do apologize if there are previews that happen when we're watching this. I did not catch it live. The Warhammer Fest preview started at 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to be up at very early, so I could not do it. This stream is about 42 minutes long, I believe. Let me check over here. 42 minutes and 6 seconds, but I am skipping in 57 seconds because there's just a long loading screen and some noises in the background before the stream actually starts. But yes, I am very, very happy. Like I said, something else that I want to do for my channel and stuff is I want to help people with homebrew chapters, how to think outside the box, how not to get stuck in the cliche copy paste pasta stuff that a lot of people do. You want to stand out, you want to make your chapter interesting. Like in a good story, you have to write an interesting hook for your chapter. You have to make them stand apart from the rest. You don't want them to be all Super Saiyans. You don't want them to all be vampires or werewolves or stuff like that. You don't want them to be ultra super indestructible, because there's too many of those and it just doesn't fit right with the lore. But yes, we're gonna listen to a few more songs and then we're gonna get into it. I'm just waiting to see how many frame drops and stuff I have. So far I have only 11 frames, so that is all good. And this playlist that I made, I called it the Grim Tabletop playlist. I did not create these songs, I should say. These are just songs that I found and put on a playlist because I really like them. They're cool. I have a whole bunch of other playlists that I created for when I first started streaming, but I never really used them. But I really like this one. It's got some good bangers on it. This song right now is called Dark Skies. Very cool. The first 3 songs were Debrief Me, followed by In the Dusk, and the one before this was Contact. Very cool. Journey Ends. A lot of the songs that well, it's not load now, but a lot of the songs that I played for the other previews was I think The Conqueror and Flamed was the other one. But we're just gonna let this song play out for a few minutes, and we'll get into the preview. Right. Okie dokie. My phone was giving me... Ow, my back. Oh man, back pain. Ow. My phone was giving me weird notifications. Like I said, we're just gonna wait a few minutes, let some people hop on in. Oh, that's right. I have to also notify. Mary. Hold, please. Do. I have to do that on my phone. It's faster to do it on my phone. No, actually, I should be able to. No. Does not give me the option to actually do that from here. Oh, no. Please hold. I'm just popping up the link over on YouTube real quick. See if that worked. It did. Very awesome. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, model, please look up. Okay, sorry about that. Now we are going to stop the music. Boop. I'm just gonna log out of this real quick, and then we will hop on in to the bread and butter of my streams. Okay, you can go away. You can go away. And it's time. Oh. It's time to light the music. It's time to light the lights. Da 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 da. On the Muppet Show tonight. Bam! Alrighty. Again, I apologize if there is any previews. Again, I am not subscribed. I'm to them. I'm not the follow. I mean, I follow them on the Twitch, but I am not a Twitch sub, which is very different from YouTube. If you don't know anything about Twitch, you actually have to pay money to follow people or to become a subscriber, but you can follow people for free. The only difference is you won't get ads if you are a subscribed. So, bam. I'm not going to pop this out all the way because it cuts off a big chunk. So, we'll turn it on up.
No.
There we go. Let's get into it.
No.
People can't hear him. No. Boo.
I think we're live.
Hey,
There we go.
Here we go.
We fixed
Amazing.
it.
This is something else. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Warhammer Fest 2023. We are
Yay.
so glad you can all be with us today.
One day I'll make it to one of
We're
those.
live both here
Maybe.
in the auditorium with
Possibly.
800 Warhammer fans. This is really quite a sight to see. And then the internet is piling as fast as they can into the Twitch stream on twitch.tv/Warhammer. So whichever medium
free
you are
plug.
joining us with, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Just to introduce us, there is us. So, my name is
Eddie
I'm joined today by
and
Adam,
Autumn
and,
Ultra.
we have some
That's
pretty cool
funny.
Warhammer 40,000 stuff to share with all of you in the room and watching along on Twitch at home.
It is going to be incredible. I'm not sure I was put on the right Primark, if I'm honest, but I will take it.
It was the only one available at the time.
I mean, yeah. The best Primark was still asleep at the point this was made.
I think so.
Yeah, there we go. Here's how it's going to work today.
The best
It's
Primark's
gonna
still
work
missing.
Like they always do, which is we're going to show you for the next maybe hour or so some awesome Warhammer stuff, some of which you've never seen, I would hope. And it's going to be mega. Please be excited if you want to.
I am very excited.
I will keep an eye on the Twitch chat. It is flying by. There's thousands of them in there, and basically it makes my brain spin. But literally the numbers are going up. But there's 17,000 people in the Twitch chat right now.Maybe give us a shout from where you are. We've had it here in the crowd already. We've had people travel from as far as Mexico, Canada, and Australia to be with us here today, and we welcome you all.
Yay!
Very, very cool, very exciting. Before we get too stuck in to this, Adam, have you been following all the news about the new edition?
I have. To be honest, I'm beside myself with excitement. I'm not sure, like, this is genuine. You know, sometimes you feel like you're talking to the universe. I'm going to talk as like Adam for a second. Like, it has never been a more exciting time to be a Dark Angels collector than right now.
You have been spoiled recently.
I remember in 1995 or so sitting in my friend Alex's room reading Angels of Death with him for the first time. And you've got that epic bit where it talks about, you know, the lion is asleep and only, you know, the watchers in the dark know. And I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if just one day, you know, the lion came back? And we live in those glorious times.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, so yes.
Fun fact, Dark Angels were my first army
I
too.
queued up outside Warhammer World at 6:30 in the morning with a load of other very excited people to get my hands on one last Saturday, and he's part built because it's been a really busy week.
Didn't even finish him.
I'm deeply ashamed, if I'm honest. Have you done any hobby lately?
I have been painting some secret things that I'm not allowed to talk about until we've shown this review.
Oh, nice. I've got a hunch, I know.
We have got two factions we're going to be focusing on particularly today, Space Marines and Tyranids. I'm curious, by like a noise in the room sort of thing, which one people are most excited about. So could I get
like
a
them
cheer
both,
in the room
but
if you're most
let's
excited
go for the
about
big
Space
boys.
Marines? Quite loud. Cheer for Tyranids.
Yay!
I would have lost my lunch money if we'd bet on that.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so I think it's probably time for us to have a look at our first video in which we will be looking at the new launch box for the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. So,
Very cool. I'm gonna get content claimed ID on this, I know. On the box. Warhammer 40,000. 13 sprues. Really big book. 66 cards. Ooh. 25 Space Marines. No blue required. 47 Tyranids. Just red paint. I'm talking over this because I don't want to get content ID claimed. Ooh. Oh, it's coming out in June. A lot of people were saying August.
I've got one! I've got one! Here it is.
Ooh.
Stole mine! Stole mine!
Boom.
This is really quite heavy, I'm not going to lie.
So Beast, this is Leviathan. So this is the launch box for the new edition of Warhammer 40,000, and in a surprise to everybody, inside the box contains Space Marines and Tyranids.
Who saw that coming?
Out of nowhere, out of nowhere. So it is a chunky box.
Oh man,
It
I
is
was
at least
hoping
as
for
large as the previous edition of Warhammer 40,000.
Dark
There's loads
Eldar.
of models in there. There's about 50 Space Marines, 25 plus Space Marines, about 50 Tyranids, rule book, all sorts of stuff. So we'll be opening that up in a second as we go through some of the slides. But I think the first thing we're going to take a closer look at
Please,
some of the
Games
miniatures.
Workshop.
So
Please do made to
start with
order
the best
for
army.
pre-orders. Oh! Oh no! Ooh. Bug boy with little brain bugs. Very cool. What are those? Oh, look at those gibbly bits. I know a little bit about the Tyranids. Little guys. Those are Reavers. Ooh. No selectors. It's the wing primed boy. Oh. Oh. Gross. That thing's really cool looking. I think I know what that is. I think that's an older model. The refreshed. Streamer Killer, I think it was called. Could be wrong though. Could be something new.
I could ask myself, how would we know facing this way when the video was finished? And that reaction kind of helped. So thank you, everyone. What an incredible range of awesome new Tyranid models. Eddie, where do we start? Yeah, so we'll go through some of the models in the box. Some of them we have seen before as we've kind of built up to this release. Some of them are brand new on show today. So we start off with the Tyranid Prime, who is the kind of de facto leader of the Tyranids. This is a model we saw online, I think last week. And this is a flying Tyranid warrior alpha beast, basically. Yeah, absolutely. We're familiar with the concept of, synapse creatures that are flying Tyranid warriors, and you see him render Space Marine into in the video. Kind of the enforcer of the set, I guess, if you were sort of trying to apply a hierarchy to their awful alien nature. Awful alien nature.
No,
it's an
they're not
incredible model.
awful.
He towers over any of the things in the Space Marine side of the set, except for one thing.
Ooh, I know what that is.
It's going to be a really dominating centerpiece in your collection. I have quite a few Tyranids of my own.
Tyranids just want hugs.
Yeah, it gives you another way to do a very flying-based Tyranid army, isn't it?
Yeah,
but let's move on, because we've seen that guy before.
Go on then.
Another unit we have seen before, Von Ryan's Leapers. This is a pack-hunting breed of lictor type creature, and they hunt in packs, basically. They can deep strike in games, they can pounce out and kill enemy characters and units and grab objectives and that sort of stuff. But the models are just really cool. They're kind of like a cross between sort of mantis shrimp and praying mantis, sort of weird. They've
definitely got a strong lictor element to them. Smaller probably in stature than lictors, it's fair to say. 40 mil basis for that person on Twitch who always asks.
He really cares.
These guys are going to fill that space in your force for scouting and hard hitting in that initial surge you're looking to make.
In the vanguard.
Backing up.
This guy really wants a hug. Whoa.
This is new. This is a psychophage. So this is a Tyranid psycho-eating feeder beast, basically. So this is a brand new thing. We haven't seen these before. This is a variation for the new Tyrannic War, and a little bit like some of the other Tyranid creatures we've seen before. It consumes lots of biomass, but this has a special preference or a special particular taste for psychic creatures. So if you've got things like librarians, or you're up against like Thousand Suns or something, this guy's going to have a field day chowing down on those.
What is
and he
that?
gets special rules to make him more deadly against psychic enemies.
Is it spewing out psychic energy?
A psychosciastic torrent.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Bonus points if you can say that after a long day of playing Warhammer. My favourite thing here is that it is literally in the process of devouring some poor Space Marine.
I think that's actually Librarian Blue. That's my headcanon.
Yeah, or an entire chapter of Blue Guard.
Could be.
I love it. And yeah, seriously creepy. It's got this huge feeder tendrils on its face, like just hoovering up. If you have a really close look, you can see all like these sort of shark-style teeth that point.
It's like a lamprey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Gross.
Pretty gruesome. We've got a new breed of Gaunt. There we go. This is the Barb Gaunt. So this is a new artillery beast for Tyranids. It's not a biovore. It is a new kind of creature. So you have the Gaunt at the bottom, and you've got this kind of parasitic gun beast that's attached to the back of it, and it's effectively...
Oh no! Boo! Damn it. No! Not sponsored. Not sponsored. Not sponsored. How many I've got? Alrighty, let's bam real quick, and then once it pops over. God, how many flippin' ads? Alrighty. Pause it. Go back. Sorry about that, chat. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Suppressing artillery rounds
there we
at
go.
The enemy. So quite short range for Tyranid artillery, and it's more about suppressing enemy formations than taking out things like vehicles and stuff. So it's kind of, if you imagine explosive frag-esque sort of rounds being fired out of this thing.
Yeah, a couple of fun things to note on it. The weapon on the back is a biocannon. It's going to be a bio something after all. But the weapon is a symbiotic creature which is clinging to the back. So there is 2 Tyranid forms on that one model. And so one's in charge of the lumbering round and getting in the right place, and the other's in charge of firing its biocannon at
Gross.
40 mil bases again.
Okay,
So these are
important.
bigger than your average gaunt, is fair to say, and perfect for being that living artillery that the Hive-Mind sometimes needs.
I quite like, it's the first Tyranid I think we've seen that's only got 3 feet on the ground. So
I
it's
don't
got
know,
one of its
kind
kind of
of-
sidearms is kind of stuck into the side of the...
There's something very creepy about the
It's
way.
like lopsided. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, there's something very creepy about the way that Tyranids interface with their weapons.
Yeah, it's not very wholesome.
Kind of on the fence about
then
that
we have
model.
another new type of gaunt. These are Neurogaunts. This is
What
a
the-
slightly smaller breed of gaunt, smaller than Termagants and Hormagaunts, and they are effectively completely subservient to the will of their a synapse creature that they
Well, that was
defend.
gross
So you
when
have
he
a
was
bunch of
coughing
these
in
guys
the
watching your big
audience.
synapse creatures, and they just throw themselves in front of bullets. They
Ah.
become more powerful when they're within synapse range. Otherwise, they are kind of blind and leaderless.
So yeah, if you look at the squad, there's 11 of these, and the one in the middle, I believe, is got to get the name right. So one of them is a node beast who leads the
Probably
Neurogaunts.
that one.
So I mean, not a squad leader in any conventional sense, but the one most capable of taking orders from the hive mind and making sure that they sort of coordinate with the synapse.
They're meat shields.
As you say, quite literally as well.
And what kind of creature will they be looking after? It'll be one of these.
Oh.
So this is a Neuro Tyrant. So
That reaction was so
it's good.
cool.
It's good. So we saw this guy in the cinematic trailer for the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. This is an alternate army leader, basically. If you'd rather go Psyker heavy rather than combat heavy, instead of a Hive Tyrant, you can have one of these at the head of your force. And it is just an entirely psychic creature that is very, very in tune with the shadow of the warp. So as well as having some pretty horrific psychic powers, it can also bolster the shadow of the warp, which is a
Very cool.
board-wide rule for Tyranids in the...
It's a
new edition
Tyranid
of Warhammer
jellyfish.
40,000.
Somebody go
Yeah,
SpongeBob.
a thing to note is the Tyranid creature, however we should refer to an alien horror from another dimension, it's flanked by neuroloids,
Which are these little
kind of
guys?
like the synaptic relays for it. Yeah.
Like
Oh,
signal
there's
boosts
a
for your Wi-Fi
yeah.
sort
I
of.
mean, like
Dude,
I
right
guess,
there. I didn't even see that.
all the best, like, you know, sort of premium centerpiece models have little people carrying things for them.
Don't know what you're referring to.
I just saying. And this guy appears to have people carrying his psychic brain power for him.
Yeah, if you need more brain, you can just have a couple of spare brains following around.
Yeah, frankly, if you want to literally blow people apart with mind bullets, this is the way.
It's good to know. One thing we noted about this guy, which I thought was quite cool, it looks quite a lot like, those of you who remember the very,
Oh my
very,
God.
very early Warhammer 40,000 Zoanthrope. It's got the same head.
I
It's
remember
kinda fun.
when that first guy released.
Yeah, I thought that was the best model ever when it came out.
I do love the fact that spiked crown that sort of comes all around the top of the head. There's some really lovely sort of shared design language here. The Neurotyrant is part of the Hive Tyrant, same genus as the Hive Tyrant, so this is sort of very much leader beast. But I love it.
Very gross.
And then probably the star of the Tyranid half of the Leviathan box, we have the Screamer Killer,
Ooh, I was right.
which is an enormous great version of the Carnifex genus. This is not replacing the Carnifex. You can still put Carnifex in your army. This is a
Oh,
different,
maybe I was wrong.
bigger, bruisier version of the Carnifex. Famous from the, I think, second edition of Warhammer 40,000 this first came out. And you can either smash people with 4 enormous claws, or it can shoot plasma out of its face.
Ooh.
And when it does that, it makes a big scream, which is where it gets its name.
Plasma out of his face, a bioplasmic scream, no less. I remember, like, I mean, who here? Come on, I would like a brief poll. Who here remembers the original Screamer Killer releasing? Yeah.
See, I've
It
seen
used to
that
fire a
model
plasma pistol.
countless
That was the way the
times.
rules were rationalised, right? Yeah, so, yeah, I remember.
There he is on the screen.
Ah,
It
there
was
we go.
like one of the
You
ugliest
can see the
models.
shared heritage, although I'd like to think that we've come a little way since then. Oh man, that's nostalgia. Pure nostalgia there. I love it. Cool. So,
One last thing as well, of course, very important.
everybody's most important thing in the whole set.
You also get some Rippers.
Oh,
So
Rippers. I thought
the
they were
last
Reavers.
version of Rippers came kind of sprawled across the rest of the Tyranid range, but mostly you got them in the Termagant box. The new Termagant sprue also has Rippers on it, so if you get some Termagants, they still come with Rippers. And they look very similar to the current one, so you can happily mix them in with any existing Rippers you already have. There we go.
I actually struggled to tell the difference. I've got quite a few Ripper Swarms and was staring at these for a while. They're going to match beautifully with your existing Tyranid armies. Anybody else got a Tyranid army out there? There was a lot of cheer for them.
They will soon.
They will soon.
Yeah. And one of the things about this box, the Leviathan box, is that the two halves of it, if you take some of the models from the Tyranid side and some of the models from the Space Marine side, you can make them both into functioning combat patrols for the new edition as well. So on the screen right now, that is the combat patrol for Tyranids in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000, and you get it in this box.
Very cool.
There we go. Right. Shall we have a look at some Space Marines?
Show us the other stuff.
Space Marines!
A crusade
Ooh.
to cleanse the stars.
Yay!
Our forces engage the remnants of Leviathan. Soon, their foulness will be but a memory.
Ooh. Please have a helmet option. Burn them! Turn them to fried chicken! Oh, big boy! Ooh! Oh! Sorry, pausing. He's got studs. That's kind of neat how they mixed up the Primaris with some other helmets too, like other bits and pieces of armor. I like that. Oh, Barbarian boy! Or no, the Apothecary. My bad. There's the Librarian. Just gonna pause it there. That is really cool, but the only thing that I have concerns about is because this is an easy to build set, means they're not gonna have a lot of different loadout options. That's going to be sad, very sad, because you can't have your Terminators with like Thunder Hammers or anything like that. You're just gonna be stuck with whatever weapon loadouts they come with within the box, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but if you wanted to customize your guys, you're gonna have to either buy like a different set of Terminators, or you're gonna have to do some kit bashing. Alright, back to the video. Sorry about that. Yay!
You really have to give like kudos to the Warhammer design team that have put all this amazing effort into these models, and also to the photography gang in the Warhammer TV team who've made them look so dope in the videos.
They look very cool, don't they?
Just awesome. Where do we even begin with this?
Let's start with our captain. Start with him. We'll start with the captain in Terminator armor. So, so Terminator captain. We knew we had a squad of Terminators coming. We knew we needed someone to lead them. We have this guy in the box. Adam, what do we know about him?
Well, there's a lot to say, right? The first thing is the Warhammer studio, the Heavy Metal team, have painted this in the colours of the Ultramarines. You can paint yours in the colours of any Space Marine chapter that you wanted. The details that are on there are not Ultramarine specific. Those are managed by the paint job.
That's cool.
Decals on more
That's good.
later. But this is in the colours of Severus Agaman, who is the captain of the first company of the Ultramarines right now. And it's just incredible, right? The work that's gone into upgrading the Terminator armor. So it's exactly the same Terminator armor we've always known and always loved, just like refined over years. And it just looks incredible. He's clutching a Storm Bolter. He's got this awesome relic power sword. What's not to love?
Yeah, it's quite an imposing model as well, because the new Terminators stand a little bit taller than the old Terminators, and this guy's also got a bit of a scenic base. So he's standing on the head of a slain Screamer killer there.
Yeah, he's already done a good morning's work.
Yeah.
So does that mean we're gonna get new Chaos Terminators too? Maybe, possibly. Just thinking out loud here. Sorry. Just back to the video.
Because of the size of the base and the size of the new Terminators, you can put this guy next to something like Abaddon, and it doesn't look like he's wildly outmatched. Now, he might be wildly outmatched, but he doesn't look like he is.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a big boy, and he looks awesome. And as I say, if you are I don't know, let's say you like other chapters of Space Marines that also like Terminator armor, just saying, you could paint him bone, and that would be perfectly fine.
Then we've got a new squad in Tactics armor. This is the Infernus squad.
So this squad would actually be really cool for salamanders. I'm just saying they like their flame weapons. Sorry if I'm pausing. I'm not going to apologize for pausing the video. I'm just pausing this so I don't have to talk over them. Something I should have thought about earlier on the video, but let's go back into it. I was just seeing if they have different. Yeah, oh no, they all have the same style helmets. I'm just seeing if maybe they have different bits and armor on them, because I did see one with like the studded pads, but maybe that's just for a special unit. And that guy there is drawing his sword. Go away notifications.
The flamers all the time.
This is a whole squad of Primaris Space Marines with flamethrowers, basically. So if you're thinking that you're going to go up against lots of gaunts for some reason, 10 flamers will do a lot of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen this weapon type appear for the first time with the Black Templar release that happened, and I'm sort of in a time, what was that, last year? I want to say
2 years, I think.
So living in a time.
Maybe 1 year.
And yeah, so we've seen Pyroblasters before. We've never seen them in this volume, I think it's fair to say. And when you are purging terrible Xenos filth from your planet, there might be nothing better.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys will sit very happily alongside things like your intercessors and assault intercessors and fill a similar sort of role. But if you think that rather than long-range bolt rifle or close combat, you just want something to clear hordes, this is a good choice to go.
Like this guy here.
It's worth talking a little bit about the set. There's loads of dynamism and cool poses within it. You've got the Sergeant, which looks...
Sergeant's very cool, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks awesome. You've got one...
It's like you're not worth the flamethrower, he's getting a knife.
And then you've got one who's going to lob a grenade in just to, cook everything off properly.
Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the next squad. So we have a new unit of Stern Guard veterans. So there's some quite cool stuff about this kit.
This guy has a older head. That guy has the studs. This is the one that I was looking at. And I think these are different shoulder pads as well, unless they're newer shoulder pads. I could be wrong. But let's see what he has to say. That's a neat pose. Do you like these? Oh, and he's got a augmented eye.
To note, so they are in Primaris scale, certainly. One thing you'll notice is that some of the models in this unit, the warriors have started to take bits of relic war gear and incorporate them into their suits. So if you look at the top left, you'll see that he's wearing, I think, Mark 7 helmet on him as well, and I think there's a couple of shoulder pads in there that look maybe a little bit iron armory, perhaps.
Yeah, the nice thing, I could wax lyrical about Stern Guard. One, because they're one of my favourite units, and two, because these do such an amazing job of sort of bringing them bang up to date, I guess. They represent the sort of fighting elite of a chapter. They're first company veterans, hence you can see the white shoulder pads trim. But they've got awesome combi weapons. You've got the one with that sort of very portable-looking heavy bolter. And this is a chance to sort of really see that bridge maybe coming between the Primaris army who's been rushed out as part of the Indomitus Crusade and how it's bedding in with chapters.
Yeah, they've started to take bits of relics and older bits of armour and mix in tabards and stuff, and these are starting to feel very like veteran Space Marine, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think people are going to really enjoy putting their own stamp on this unit within their collection. I know I love putting veterans in my Dark Angels army. These are just be another veteran squad. For me, and there's something very cool about it. All the tilting plate for the Sergeant, that gives you a chance to have unique heraldry. Yeah, I could run through what the various options and things they have. We're talking about all the combi weapons. I don't really know how much further I should go. It's worth adding they are single pose in this set.
Yep.
So if you are
like
me and you just like being able to build things fairly quickly, that's no bad.
Cool. Let's have a look at the next thing. And we have a new Apothecary, Apothecary Biologist. This is an Apothecary in Gravis armor. We haven't seen one of those before. And this guy's a little bit different from the Apothecaries we've seen previously in Space Marine armies, is in that he isn't necessarily going to be healing your Space Marine troops. He's got a container there to take biological samples of enemies and stuff. So if he's up against Tyranids in this set, you might be trying to get like material or data from synapse creatures or something like that, to capture some like synapse nodes, that sort of thing. But what he
He's
does
a
when you
good
put him into your
collector.
units is, because he's got that expert knowledge, he can give them bonuses and buffs. So this is buffing your own units rather than healing your units for this particular version of the apothecary.
Yeah,
That's
you're going to be able to attach him to units of Gravis armored troops so that he can do his best thing. So we're talking like aggressors, eradicators, heavy intercessors, at which point his like extra knowledge that he's gleaned from the corpses of the dead will be super useful. And an apothecary in Gravis armor just looks so good.
I think he's going to Blood Angel up quite nicely, this guy, because they like apothecaries.
Yeah, absolutely. He's armed with an Absolver bolt pistol, so he can still do the Emperor's Mercy should it be required. But really, he's there to make sure that your troops have all the buffs they need.
And 40k's cutest chainsaw.
The little one on his shoulder.
Right.
Cute but
let's have a look
deadly.
at probably the centerpiece kit then of the Space Marine Force, which is this guy, the Ballistus Dreadnought. So this is a reinvention of a classic kind of Dreadnought style. We've seen with the Redemptor Dreadnought and then with the Brutalis Dreadnought the other two options, the kind of tactically flexible, the combat-y one, and this is the other end of the spectrum, which is an all about long-range shooting Dreadnought. So you've got twin las cannons, missile launchers, and loads of bolters on there as well. So this guy sits at the back of your army supporting your long-range troops and taking out enemy heavy army and armor and monsters, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in the video, it like blasts the Screamer Killer, doesn't it?
Bit mean,
this is what you need if you're looking for some walking firepower. It's got the very like strong gun emplacement vibes to me. You can imagine it sort of lumbering along, hunkering down, giving you the good news at long range, and then advancing with the main force. It's everything to love. The guns are a Ballistus missile launcher and a Ballistus las cannon. Also has twin storm bolters. This thing is walking death.
Yeah, it's going to kick out quite a lot of firepower. And a reinvention as well of kind of the classic little boxy Dreadnought. So there he is, next to his granddad.
Never talk to my son like that again.
Something like that. But like a really, really nice kind of classic style of Dreadnought that's it's nice to see make its way into the new edition with a reinvention as well. So yeah, I think it looks great.
I also hear, and this is, we'll need to confirm it close to time, but I understand that as you build it, there are layers of detail inside that once you cover them up, you'll never see again.
Oh.
But if you are like true to the cause, you'll paint those before you glue on the outer sarcophagus.
You're crazy. Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's the whole box. That's all the miniatures all together. So there you go, get a sense of what you get. So loads of Space Marines, even more Tyranids. It's a very, very packed box. So in terms of like big kits, you've got 4 significantly like centerpiece kits in that box.
So before we go on, which thing out of the miniatures in this set are you most excited about?
I think the Screamer Killer.
Really?
It looks
Screamer
wicked.
Killer is
Like,
pretty cool.
I think when it came out, I remember the Screamer Killer, not a little bit before my time, but it was in all the White Dwarfs and things when I was a kid. And I always wanted one, and I never got one because it was big and metal and I couldn't afford it.
It does feel like a real return of sort of a classic thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really cool.
And you've sort of been able to make them with the Carnifex kit, but actually seeing it properly reinvented is very cool. On the Space Marine side, I think we'd seen him before, but I really like the Librarian.
He is cool. I am, Space Marine wise, I'm absolutely torn between either the new Terminators, which are everything I could have hoped for and more, and the Sternguard veterans, because I do like just.
I really
regular
like
power
those
armor
guys, the
flying
Sandguard
around.
vet. Yeah.
I've never really embraced the Deathwing side of my army. I've mostly focused on Ravenwing, and the idea of being able to finally like go on.
Join the inner circle.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And Tyranid wise, the Neuro Tyrant all day.
Yes, that was
amazing. The chat is shouting some things in, but it's gone mad, and I couldn't possibly tell you. I think I've seen a lot of love for various things in there, but a lot of talk about the cannons right now. So we'll trust them.
Boom.
Is that everything in the box? And we're done.
So that's all the miniatures. There is more in the box. We have the Leviathan book, so we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at that, and we have a video to tell us a bit more about what's going on with that book.
Okay. I'm waiting for ads to pop up. What's in the box? What's in the book? It's a lot of pages.
The book that comes in the Leviathan box set is packed with background on the setting of Warhammer 40,000 and the various forces that fight across the galaxy.
Don't say.
Inside, you'll find inspiring photographs of miniatures and immersive artwork. along with
Very
the
cool.
core rules of the game, and a narrative crusade campaign based around the Fourth Tyrannic War.
I like that. Do things by the book. So I'm actually pausing this because I'm curious, because the new Dreadnought does not have... I don't know why I got notifications, but I did. Somebody I followed, but I don't know who it was because I couldn't read it. Maybe it was... I don't know, but I'm curious if the Dreadnought actually does have a melee attack where it just stomps on stuff. Kind of like the Imperial Knight, maybe.
Cool. So, as well as all the miniatures, you get all of this stuff in the box too. So you get your Leviathan book, which is closing on 400 pages. You've got some cards. There you go. Have a look. And we've got the transfers. So if we talk about the book first.
It's massive and heavy.
Yeah.
There you go. That is my official summation.
You can beat people with it.
Nice. As you expect, there's loads of background in there. It's got a little bit of an update on what's going on in the galaxy. All of the usual kind of setting stuff. So give you an overview of the various different factions that are fighting. The core rules in there are quite interestingly done because they've got their own page numbers, and what that means is...
That just threw me, actually.
Yeah, what that means basically is that wherever you get your core rules, whether you're going to be downloading them for online or you get them in this book or separately in a different book, whenever we reference a page number, it will always be the same. So that's kind of broken out as a little separate thing. The book itself, in this format, is going to be exclusive to this box. The contents in there will be available separately in different forms, so you'll be able to get the rules bit separately and the Crusade bit separately and all the other bits. But if you want it all together in one big book with the lovely Leviathan cover, the only way to get that is in this box, and that's also where you get all that stuff first as well.
I have a feeling this is going to sell out
390
really
pages,
quickly.
hardback,
Some scalpers.
got a nice black ribbon, and it is exploding with lore and rules and awesome material, which you will want for your enjoyment and games.
Do you want to tell us about the transfer sheet, Adam?
I
love transfer sheets.
Yes, transfers. I
It's
do
true,
like them too.
It's a bit nerdy, but I immediately squirreled the transfer sheet as soon as Eddie opened the box. I've got the stats on the transfer sheets as well, for those of you who are listening. There are 849 separate decals on this sheet.
Holy shit.
Some of them are really, really tiny. And it covers, can you see it on the screen? No, it's not on the screen. You'll just have to trust me. It covers loads of different chapters. So you've got Ultramarines, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, as you would expect. You've got the Raven Guard in there as well. There's Imperial Fists, and then you've got all of the numbers and like unit iconography. I never throw away a transfer sheet. I've got like a big envelope full of them, and honestly, this one might be my favourite yet. The Imperial Fist transfers are really, really cool in it as well. They're like super good. Because all those Stone Guard get like unique looking heraldry, so it's going to be...
You've got lots of little tilting shields and stuff, haven't you? To little tiny bits of detail and knee pads and things.
Very excited for the transfers.
As well as that, you've got the new mission cards. So this box comes with the full set of mission cards, which is what we talked about on the community site yesterday. This is basically how you generate games. If you don't want to play either a Crusade game or the default mission out of the box, you can generate match play games basically with this deck of cards.
I also love how the backs look like something straight out of the Imperium. I don't know
like
what.
Emperor's Tarot.
Yeah, slightly obscure, you know, like esoteric and weird. The wrong person holds them and they're in trouble. You get to hold them and play a game.
So the other thing about this box is that it tells a story about what's happening in a particular planet somewhere in the Imperium. So we're just going to jump now to another video with the Warhammer Studio to tell us a bit more about what's going on in the story of this box set.
The Leviathan box is packed full of exciting new Space Marine and Tyranid miniatures that will tell a great story.
Tell me
The
the
contents
story
of
of
the
your people.
Leviathan box are telling a story that's probably typical of any number of war zones across the Bastior subsector, which is the region of space the north lot of the battles and the early parts of the Fourth Tyrannic War take place in. You can see a number of different Tyranid creatures, including assimilator beasts, eater beasts, creatures that typically only turn up towards the latter stages of a planetary invasion. But the Space Marines have turned up with their own deep-striking, teleporting First Company strike force to disrupt and destabilise the Tyranid assault. This planet's probably already doomed, but if the Space Marines can effect victory, they can destabilise the Tyranids, they can drain the hive mind of biomass, they can force it to expend and waste resources, which is something that the hive mind never wants to do when it's conducting its invasions. If the Space Marines can't achieve victory here, it'll spell doom not only for this world, but also for the Imperial armies trying to gather themselves and prepare for fresh waves of Tyranid assaults.
That's
The
not
Space
good.
Marine Strike Force includes a number of First Company squads and characters. We've got a Stern Guard veteran squad who are
Yay.
equipped with a variety of different bolt rifles with specialist ammunition and combi weapons, so they can be targeting different Tyranid
Love that
creatures
model.
and be sure of success. There's a Space Marine Terminator squad equipped with Stormbolters, Power Fists, and an assault cannon who are capable of mowing down many times their own number of Tyranid enemies.
Get 'em.
The strike force is led by a captain and a librarian in Terminator armor, allowing them to go toe-to-toe with enormous Tyranid monstrosities. And a ballistas dreadnought equipped with las cannons and missile launchers, capable of taking out armored organisms like a Carnifex. My favourite model in the box, and perhaps the most important member, is the Primaris Lieutenant, a representative of a previous expedition to this planet, being recovered by this Space Marine Strike Force. So he is covered in trophies and improvised armour of defeated Tyranid creatures as he is fighting behind enemy lines for quite some time. If you prefer the idea of destroying, consuming the Imperium rather than fighting in its defence, the new Tyranid army in the Leviathan box has a whole host of new creatures, led by the Neurotyrant, a new type of
Jellyfish
synapse
tyrant.
organism, a far more psychic creature than the existing Hive Tyrant, just as commanding, a little bit less combative, but a force magnifier with a shadow in the warp that precedes all the Tyranid invasions. The Neurotyrant is backed up by a winged Tyranid Prime as a bit of an enforcer,
Big
capable
beefy
of
boy.
flying in and dealing with any pesky Terminators that would threaten the Synapse creature in charge of the swarm.
Oh,
And there are some
gross.
bigger creatures. The Psychophage, or Witch Eater, is an assimilator
I like
beast
that name.
capable of consuming any biomass on the planet and kicking out all sorts of corrosive spores, but has a particular taste for psychic creatures, just like the Librarian and Terminator armor.
Gross.
And the Screamer Killer is perhaps the most iconic and recognisable
Yes.
representative of the Tyranid hive mind in this collection, a wonderful update to a classic design.
The predator becomes the prey. I like that.
Yeah, so a little bit more there about the background of the lore, about what's going on in this box.
Ooh.
One of the things that does come in the Leviathan
Let's just take a moment to look at the pretty art. I really, really like that. That guy's yeeting some people. Got our evil jellyfish back there. We've got, they're coming out of, gross. I'm sorry. And then there's, is that a Starship Trooper bug back there? Something back there killing stuff? I always like the art. I always appreciate the art. I love the art. Alright, sorry, back to the video.
Leviathan book is an entire Crusade supplement for Warhammer 40,000, which deals with the Fourth Tyrannic War. So if you're a narrative player, and that's how you like to play your games, you have an entire Crusade in there, basically, which you can play with either the Space Marines or the Tyranids, or any army that wants to join in with the Fourth Tyrannic War can take part as well.
Cool
And in the
beans.
narrative, it also includes things like Astra Militarum and Custodes and the various other factions that are getting trying to intercept the Tyranid tendrils, basically.
I think it's a perfect opportunity with this box, assuming that you're going to split it with somebody and you're nice. You
No.
can, essentially, you and a friend
Not
can
nice.
really start diving into an awesome narrative experience. The Ultramarines
that
have
is
a
cool.
long history of battling, the Tyranid invasions, and it's a chance to really jump into some cool storytelling with your games, like
Yep.
right out of the box. It's really cool.
So we will be bringing out the Crusade element of the Leviathan book separately. So if you don't want to pick the Leviathan book up, if you wanted to just get the rules separately somehow, you can still join in with the narrative through the Crusade expansion. And that's basically how Crusade rules in the new edition will be delivered. Rather than being in your codexes, the narrative and narrative gaming will come out together as campaign supplements. So if you want to follow the big narrative beats of the edition, you could do it that way.
I like that.
Pretty cool.
I like that.
Awesome.
Obviously, it's got some glorious new artwork in it, so we've got a little bit of a
Yes.
teaser about some of the things that you can see. There's all the campaign books these days are full of absolutely glorious bits of art, and they give you that kind of evocative look and feel of what it's like to face the horror of High Fleet Leviathan in the Fourth Tyrannic War.
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about the grim darkness of the 41st millennium and how, doomed humanity is and a galaxy totally at war. But I think the bottom left picture really sums that up for me. A very forlorn-looking guardsman just as the horrors of the universe unfold around him.
There's like
That
a
would
living
suck to be
tide of
him.
Tyranids about to consume him, and he's got his las gun, and he's like,
Worst
"Strength
job
three,
ever."
strength 3, go, go. It's doing all right. If you want to read along with the story of Leviathan as well, we will be bringing out a novel for you Black Library fans out there, which is called Leviathan, so nice and easy to remember, by Darius Hinks, and this tells the story of the Ultramarines' first company in a particular battle against the Tyranids of High Fleet Leviathan.
Awesome.
Cool.
Perfect. And by the very excellent Mr. Hinks.
Yep.
No less.
It's a good book. Alongside this box, we've talked a little bit about them already, but just to give you the full spread, here are the index cards that will be released alongside or very soon after the box of Leviathan. And you can see you've got 28 different decks of index cards, which are available for all the current factions in Warhammer 40,000, effectively. These will be available as cards, which are really convenient. You can kind of have them in front of you and lay them down in front of you for your games. If you want to, though, you can also download these from the internet for free. So
Very
So
neat.
basically,
Very nice.
as
Don't
soon
have
as
to
you
buy
get your
those.
hands on the Leviathan box, grab yourself some index cards and you can start playing and using your army,
use
whatever.
your existing army,
Yeah.
start playing with them.
Or-
Okay. We've got one last bit of Warhammer 40,000 news to share with you today. We're basically going to give you the roadmap for the first year of releases for Warhammer 40,000. So, no pitch.
Ooh. People like Matt.
I like that. I like that.
I want to know.
So
I want to know.
just,
I want to know.
just in case you didn't believe us that there'll be some stuff following the Leviathan box, here is what is coming in the first year of Warhammer 40,000. So we've got, for summer 2023, you have the Leviathan box, of course, with the core book in it, which is also available separately, and the Tyrannic War book, which is also available separately, and the chapter-approved mission deck, which is also available separately, and all of the index cards you need to play. And then, in a surprise to nobody, the first two codexes of the new edition will be Tyranids and Space Marines, and they will be with us in autumn of 2023. And
You'd have got the lowest odds ever on that, but you would have won the bet.
it's true, it's true. And then
Chaos
before
Space
the end of
Marines
the
not till
year,
spring.
we will also have a new codex for Adeptus Mechanicus and for Codex Necrons. And then in the first few months of 2024, we will have an absolute smorgasbord of codexes, including Dark Angels, Orcs, Adeptus Custodes, Tau Empire, and Chaos Space Marines. It's a really nice spread.
That is an onslaught of Warhammer 40,000 goodness. Can't wait.
The other thing to note about all of those codexes is that all of them will come with at least some new miniatures.
Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. I will say this: they should have put a new codex. They should have added Imperial Guard because they got screwed over this last edition. The Imperial Guard came out like at the very end. It should have popped off like at the right beginning, because it would go side by side with the Ultramarines fighting in the Tyranid War.
If you put a pin right now down, this could be the best year ever for Dark Angels then, couldn't it?
It could be. Could be.
Man, I can't wait. Awesome. Right. Where does that leave us?
So that brings us to the end of the Warhammer 40,000 preview.
Alrighty.
So that's been very cool. Have you got anything you're most excited about there, Adam?
Terminators and Stern Guard, miniatures wise, I'm super hyped for a new era of Warhammer 40,000 gaming, if I'm honest. I know we'll talk more about that over the coming days and weeks and months. Well, it's not even a month. This coming period of time, and a chance to sort of get my armies out and use them fresh again. My Tyranids have sat on a shelf for more than a year and not been used. It's a chance to get those out and refresh them. So I think the thing will be the Stone Guard and Terminators. The feeling, though, is just what a great time for Warhammer 40,000. What an awesome time to be excited about this hobby that I've enjoyed since I was a 10-year-old boy.
I've got 3,000 points of Tyranids at home, so I think that I might dust those off and bring them back to the battlefield.
For everything you've got in your army battle against my Dark Angels.
Could be.
Sold.
Could be.
Right.
Right. If,
I was nearly, yes. So what we're going to do next is we're going to say goodbye to the very excellent people who've joined us in the Twitch stream. Right now, 36,700 people watching concurrently. Thank you for spending your time with us. It has been a delight to have you.
It was a delight
and
watching.
We can't wait for you to tune into more previews across Warhammer Fest. Don't feel that you need to step away from your computers if you're with us on Twitch. There's going to be streamed gaming throughout the event. There is just like 100 meters through that way, an enormous events hall packed with more gaming tables than I think I've ever seen in one place. Kill Team, Warcry, Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, just everything you could hope to see, all going off all at once, and it looks amazing. And they'll be streaming games throughout the weekend when they're not streaming previews.
Okay.
So, yeah, thanks ever so much for joining us on Twitch. We will say bye to you now. So, bye, everybody.
Take care.
Everyone else can say bye as well if you want. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was fun. That was fun, chat. Let's go over here. Oh, that is the wrong one. Bam! So that was fun. I quite enjoyed that. Yes, that was fun. I liked it a lot. There are some things I'm super excited about. Some things that I'm just kind of meh about. But overall, the meh things is I would have liked to have more kind of weapon variety and options in the box. I don't mind easy to build models, but I do like customizing my guys with different weapons and stuff. But that's not bad. That's not bad for a starter box. Really excited about it. I'm also dreading the fact that the pre-order is going to be sold out completely if Games Workshop does not change their website and how they do things. Numerous people in the community, I think Valrak and Kurioth have said this, where they need to update and check certain things. Like if somebody is buying 50 boxes from different accounts and they're all going to the same address, there needs to be a way to stop that and be like, hold up, this guy's bought too many. You only get one, so why are you ordering so many? Type of deal. You know, if it's not a legitimate business, if it's not, I know a lot of people are going to be mad about this, but if it's not a legitimate brick and mortar store, I know some people are going to get mad about that, but like for wargaming shops, it would be okay for like your local hobby shops to do that, but not for just some random Joe Schmo who is an eBay seller. I do not like eBay sellers. I've had very bad experiences with them. But that's just me. Some people have very good experiences. I've had very bad experiences. The people that I bought from, I did not realize they were an eBay shop. They had some old models that I bought. I bought some old squats from them. And they were cheap. And the reason why they were cheap is because they were poorly put together and then they were poorly primed. There's a lot of green stuff on them. I was kind of disappointed in that. But I'm not going to go rant about that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. Are you excited for the new edition? I know some people aren't. I know some people said, I'm done with the hobby after 8th edition. They went off and went rawr. You know, I understand. I understand that streamlining the game is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I know that there's some issues going on with the community right now. With wannabe tyrants and people trying to take control over the community that need to be kicked to the curb. And there's also people that have been rightfully shunned and don't need to come back to the community. If you've doxed somebody out of pure malice and spite to try to get back into the good graces, I can't speak, and be buddy with GW again after you pulled some crap to try to get somebody you didn't like off the internet. That's not cool. That's not cool. Just be nice to each other. Be good. Be friendly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dreadbread. This has been the Warhammer Fest previews. I will probably break this down into much smaller parts and post them up on my YouTube channel. Let me just go over here real quick. Open up this, which I forgot to do at the beginning. And all these links will be posted in the descriptions and stuff. Bam. Bam. There you go. It should pop up on the screen for a hot sec. I do have a Twitter. I do have a Rumble backup channel in case people try to false flag my channel again. At least I have a backup channel on Rumble where some of my videos are at. I do have a YouTube channel and I do have a Twitter. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, you can. But if you have GFX in your name, or you say you're a dead YouTube content creator and stuff like that, I probably will soft block you, which means I won't block you outright. I'll just remove you, because a lot of those people, especially the GFX people, they're all scammers or art thieves, and I've noticed that some people who claiming to be a dead YouTube creator, not dead YouTube creators, but YouTube creators with dead channels, are also fake, or they're just really weird people that want shoutouts and things to their channel. But anyway, enough rambling. My name is Dreadbread. I hope you enjoyed the preview, and I will see you all in the next one. Till next time, bye. I really had fun doing this, and I will plan to do more. Right now, the only thing they have up before I leave is gameplay. I'm probably not going to watch the new gameplay right away. I'm not going to stream that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my voice is giving out. I've rambled on long enough. Well, no. Bye-bye.